Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to start with the 7th chapter, that is environmental changes. And in this chapter, we will look further for the different aspects such as weather, how is the climate, the greenhouse effect, the global warming, which has become the most crucial point of the earth, and the different calamities which is destroying the earth, which the man-made people, we the people, are also destroying our earth. Right? We are going to see it in a very nice way. This chapter is also very interesting, an environmental chapter related to the environment. So pay attention, take your textbook in your hand so that you may be able to see what things are being explained it in a proper manner. Right? The first thing in this, we will see the first concept of what is weather. Now, what do you mean by weather? Before going to make you sure that what do you mean by a weather, we need to have clear meaning of some of the environmental changes. That is, the air that envelops the earth from all sides is known as atmosphere, and we have already learned, my dear students, in the earlier chapter, the atmosphere, the biosphere and the hydrosphere, right? So the air that envelops the earth all sides is known as atmosphere. The atmosphere is getting polluted due to the human activities. The environment gets polluted due to industries, factories, power stations and vehicles. Yes, we all know that due to the factories and industries, the smoke release out is causing a great destruction of air. Air pollution is increasing, and so the people living in the nearby areas are also suffering from various diseases, because that smoke is not good for the people, right? Especially for the health of the people who are suffering from diseases like asthma and all. So basically this thing, the smokes released out from the factories and the effluents which are being released out from the factories, which are polluting even the rivers, and the rivers which basically is being polluted, that river water which we are using it, that also is very much dangerous. So these things are to be taken into consideration a lot while making a pure and fresh environment. The changes that occur in temperature, direction of wind, moisture due to the global warming are known as environmental changes. Yes, the global warming has become the most important point and the important aspects of the whole country, because it is a situation where global warming is particularly a situation where it is spread through many of the aspects. Likewise, the different types of the chlorofluorocarbons, is destruction of the trees, yes, the deforestation of the trees, fire of the forest. These things take place, and due to the especially when the earth is being heated due to various chemicals released out throughout the air or river or any of the sources. That is the main purpose. So basically this thing we have to change it, the environmental change. We all know, my dear students, that plastic is totally being banned, right? And mostly in all the seas and oceans now inside, we need to look after our marine life also, and so we need to change the environment for ourselves. Every year 5th June we are celebrating 5th Environment Day, the World Environment Day. 5th June we are celebrating, but every 5th June we are planting a tree, in order that trees brings us a good fresh air, a good rain. But on the contrary, many forests are being burnt. On the contrary, deforestations are taking place. So that is totally the whole world is being devastated by this. So the global warming is increasing by this type of the sources. So these are the countries. So basically we have to see how the environmental changes will occur. Find out the places that experience the extreme heat, cold and extreme climate conditions with the help of the given table, and also find out the reason for the same. Yes, there is a reason for this. For this reason, I'll make you to write it afterwards. First, we'll talk about what is weather. The condition of temperature, rain and moisture, that is humidity, in any region at a particular point of time is known as weather. So weather, it can be, now you see the monsoon season is going on, you may have a moisture in your house, you may have sometimes you feel cold, sometimes at point of time you may feel very much hot, because everything is mixed up. So in rainy season, and when it goes certainly towards the shifting towards the next season, that is winter, you will feel cold, you will feel very much shivery, because winter season is will be approached. So depending upon the weather conditions, the condition, the temperature and the rain and the moisture in any region for a particular point, that is known as an weather. Now what would be the weather of this place? Write your answer in a notebook after carefully observing the given maps. Basically here it is given to you nicely. Chennai is there, Hyderabad is there, Lucknow, Dibrugarh, Delhi, Ahmedabad and Mumbai. These are the things that depends upon which season we are going to tell. If I tell about the in the month of May, that is a summer season, you will write according to that, but you don't have to. I'm just telling you, I'm just explaining you don't have to write in the notebook. Yes. So that depends upon that. So weather is a thing that basically the condition, the average condition of the rain or temperature or humidity or rainfall in any other region, right? That is known as an weather, depending upon the certain environmental changes. Then we will see what is climate. The average condition of rain, temperature and moisture for over more than 35 years is known as climate. That is the condition of the rain, temperature. Now we need to understand that what is the climate of this particular place, right? The climate of that particular place will be more. Now you may have experienced, you may have seen in many of the news channels, some particular regions are receiving more rainfall. Mumbai is receiving more rainfall, right? Whereas Junagadh also, this year we had a good rainfall. But in certain parts of Saurashtra and even in certain parts of Gujarat, there was a less rainfall depending upon their environmental changes, because the heat and gases poured in the atmosphere, basically that depends a lot. Climatic changes depends a lot. It is given the average condition of rain, temperature and moisture. So basically not the high, not low, but an average condition means a proper condition of for more than 35 years in any of the regions, that is known as a climate. So climate, that depends upon it. So if you are coming to in the month of May, if anybody asks you that in the month of April, May, what is the climate, you are not going to tell in the month of April, May it will be hot, it will be cold. Definitely it will be hot. Yes, it will be too much hot because it is summer season. But if anybody asks that what will be the climate in the month of December, definitely you will say it will be cold. It is a cold season, it is a winter season, wintry season. So that is the main thing over there, that what do you mean by a climate. You can just see over here, the first figure itself shows the deserted area. And when you see for the deserted area, there will be an average rainfall. Like Kutch, Saurashtra Kutch is receiving an average rainfall and is receiving a highest temperature in the month of May, that is the summer season, right? Because it's a deserted area and the basically the land, yes, the sand of the Saurashtra Kutch region is getting too much hot. So basically the people living in the Saurashtra Kutch areas are receiving too much of heat over there, right? Whereas the people who are living near the cold areas, cold regions, right? Now if you move towards Canada, Canada is experiencing over minus 20 degree, that is winter, right? Over minus 20 degree, that will be, so these regions are experiencing too much of climatic changes. There will be a climatic change for all over the 365 days in a year. Sometimes the climate may be good, sometimes the climate may be dull. You must have noticed over there that sometimes in the rainy season even the sun appears but not as we want it, right? But sometimes it appears a lot like a summer season. Even in the month of July or August, we may feel that this again the summer season has started, like that way the sun will be shining and it will be too much hot, right? So the thing is that depending upon the climatic changes, depending upon the condition on the temperature, on the moisture for over more than 35 years or more, then different types of the moisture, that is known as basically the climate. Now what do you know about the greenhouse farming? Greenhouse farming, that is, countries with a cold climate receives less heat from the sun. This hampers the growth of plant and vegetables. Hence arrangements are made to accumulate adequate heat from the sun. The roof is made of either glass or cloth to allow the sun rays to penetrate and sustain the heat inside the building, and this practice is known as the greenhouse farming. So basically what is greenhouse farming? Some countries are there, for example we need to take Canada. Canada is one of the we say that the coldest region, yes. If you go in the winter season, you may be experiencing minus 20 and minus 22 degree. That type of regions, the people, basically what happens, the countries with a very cold climate, they are receiving very less heat. They don't have sun that much. So what happens, this hampers the growth of the plant and vegetables are very much less. There are plant and vegetables, but the growth what they receive from the direct sunlight, that is the most important thing over there. So what happened, they are not able to get, even the people who are living there, they are not able to receive vitamin D directly from the sunlight that we are receiving it, right? It's a natural thing, vitamin D, which we are getting it from the direct sunlight. They are not receiving it because there is no sun. So what they will do, a glass shape on the roof. How we are putting the, either it is made of the bricks or or some roof type we are putting it. They are putting the glass, so in order that if some sun rays are there, then sun rays can directly penetrate into the house, and they may also be able to sustain the heat. They may also experience the heat because too much cold region is there. So if sometimes the sun rises basically, but not there is not too much heat over there, but in their summer season, if such things are being prevailed at that point of time, what happens, the sun rays are accumulating and it penetrates into the house. It allows them to enter the house by the mode of glass. If glass is there, then basically it is a transparent, so the sun rays can directly, the sunlight can come into the house, and so they can have at least a warmth of it, right? So that is only the reason of greenhouse farming. And even also whenever the plants are being planted over there in a certain particular area, at that point of time they are using this greenhouse farming. even at the house or even in the where the farm place they have been located, right? So that is known as in greenhouse farming. Coming to a different point, that is, what is global warming? Now, what do you mean by a global warming? Global warming means an unequal and continuous rise in the average temperature of the Earth's climate system due to the greenhouse gases. It occurs when certain gases in the atmosphere entrap infrared radiation, that is UV rays. This effect makes the planet warmer, which subsequently reaches to global warming, right? So now how the global warming is being caused? Global warming means it is a totally unequal and continuous rise in the level of temperature. Now if the temperature is continuously rising, for example, if I say about in the month of summer, if the temperature of the earth rises basically from 30 degree to 40 to 45 degree temperature, we are experiencing, right? We are experiencing 40 to 43 degrees over in the month of summer, right? In the month of May or June, in the season of summer, we are experiencing. So what happens, that totally rise in the average temperature in the Earth's climate are because of due to this greenhouse gases also. The greenhouse gases, basically we come to know that maybe of the carbon dioxide released, methane gases are being released, nitrous oxide, the chlorophyll carbons, the carbons, halocarbons. These are the gases which retain the heat, they maintain the heat and increase their proportion and leads to the problems of global warming. Yes, this gases, the what I told about the carbon dioxide or methane or the chlorofluorocarbons or the halocarbons, they are retaining the heat and they increase the proportion, and at last it leads to a problem of global warming and climatic changes. So global, you can just see from even from the diagram also that due to the deforestation, due to the release of the chlorofluorocarbons, due to the petrol and engines, you must have seen many vehicles. Yes, they are when they start the vehicles, the smoke is being released. This type of the pollution of air also is a cause for the global warming. You can just see the oil and petrol engines, the greenhouse gases and fossil fuels are given over here. This is the edge of the temperature. The radiation absorbed by the greenhouse gases, different types of the gases, deforestation, there is the forests are being burnt. This is the most important thing which we are experiencing global warming, right? So and also the melting of the glaciers, and due to the global warming the glaciers are melting, right? So that is one of the crucial point. We need to save our environment, we need to save our planet, because the too much of heat is being accumulated, and due to the heat, due to the combustion of the fire, the heat is being accumulated and global warming is taking place, right? So the temperature is totally going high, the heat is totally going high, my dear students. Even now at presently in the month of rainy season we have, but still we are experiencing so much heat, right? Apart from having a good rainfall, this time also it was really good, but we are experiencing still too much of heat. Why? Because due to the global warming, because because of this release of the smoke from the factories, the trade affluence from the industries, all these things are taking place and increasing the level of the temperature, and the global warming is taking place. So you can see the reflected rays, and the sun rays are too much high, we feel very much hot, and sometimes we feel that we are going to be faint, right? So too much of high temperature also are being caused due to the global warming. And the UV rays, or the ultraviolet rays, that is also not good for our health. So that is the most important thing. Then why? Because this thing, just think in your mind, my dear students, that this everything, the deforestation, the chlorofluorocarbons, the greenhouse gases, the fossil fuels, this we are only doing it, we are only destructing our planet, because we are only not saving the garbages we are throwing anywhere, right? We are not properly planting a proper, if we are planting a proper tree, deforestation are being taken place. Many of the people the vehicles are there, so definitely there will be a smoke pollution, and in the mega cities it will be much more, because too much of traffic because of this. So everything they come into in one concept and make the global warming, right? Then the question arises in our mind that how does the earth gets heated? Now how does the earth get heated? That is also the one possible thing. In the newspapers, it may be have seen that average increase in the 5 degrees Celsius in the temperature in the West Europe heat experienced. 14 degrees Celsius in the Darjeeling reaches to maximum of 28 degrees Celsius. You can just see over it, from 14 it has now reached to 28 degrees in Darjeeling. That is one of the which is coming under the Shimla, Darjeeling, at that side, the northern side. It is experiencing 28 degrees now, because it is a cold region. But then also this the snowfall in desert. Mumbai received 942 ml rain in one day in 2005, that is of CE. Increasing temperature in Australia. Sundarban is submerging. Reduction of 5 kilometers in Khumbu snow river of Nepal. Ice cap of the size of 3250 kilometers melts with 35 days in Antarctica, and the sources of rivers are drying up. Yes, I told you that because of the too much of high temperature, the rivers are dried. There is no water, and people are experiencing sometimes famine. Yes, in our parts this time rivers were flowing, rivers were flooded due to the excessive rainfall. That is also not good. If excessive rainfall is there, people may suffer, because the crops, whatever the farmers have been planted, the crops are destroyed, especially for the next year. This year the farmers are totally being devastated, because the whole crops are destroyed due to the many regions experiencing the heavy rainfall. So this type of natural thing, calamities occur, and this all leads to a global warming. Now we need to see that how does the earth gets heated. The greenhouse gases like the carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, chlorofluorocarbons, and the halocarbons play an active role in the greenhouse effect. The increase in the proportion of these gases leads to the problem of global warming and climatic change. So we all know that increase in the temperature by 0.6% Celsius in the last 100 years. Here it is clearly given to you that the mixture of carbon dioxide, how much percentage it is? 64%. Chlorofluorocarbons, the carbons released from the factories and different effluents, that is 65%. Methane gas released from the different industries and factories, and 10%, and halocarbon 0.5%. These things are creating the earth is being heated over these things. And so how it is being created? By the release of the carbon dioxide, methane, and chlorofluorocarbons. And such carbons, this carbon dioxide, whether it can be a carbon dioxide or the methane gases or the chlorofluorocarbons, this thing is being released by the different sources, right? Many industries and factories has started, and so many, yes, due to the industrialization in mega cities and big cities, basically you will see there will be no fresh air, because lot of pollution will be there due to the daily release of the smokes of factories and the vehicles, and too much of air pollution and air density, right? If you check the air level density, that will be too much high for the, yes, after the lockdown, you might have seen in the news also what the world is facing now in the global pandemic of coronavirus. When it was in the lockdown period, when the people were inside the house, nobody was going out, you might have seen a totally environmental change over there. Everything was pure, the quality of the air index was totally pure. Why? Because people were living in the houses, nobody was going, no usage of the petrol, no usage of the vehicles were there. So basically what happened, the climate came again to a what it was before, right? The fresh air started. The people who are living in the mega cities can even now see the vehicles coming from the opposite direction, because mega cities, the people who are before this global pandemic, they couldn't see, because there was too much of air, the pollution, that they can't see the people who are coming from the opposite direction. They even cannot ride it. So even in the daylight, they used to start a light in the vehicle, right? So that was the condition. But now it was totally clear. You might have seen in the even the news and in newspapers and in the TV channels, that even now it was a very much nice clear quality of air index was there. Even we can see a clear climatic change. So from that we can come to know, my dear students, that the people and we itself only are responsible for our earth. If we protect our earth, if we make a clean and a greener environment, definitely the earth is going to have a very finest place, right? Earth is going if we plant too much of trees, and we definitely that will be the most probable thing for us. But if it will be not, if we are not protecting our earth, definitely we are going to destroy our earth one day, right? So by this harmful chemicals, the release of the methane and the carbon dioxide and the nitrous oxide, these are the gases which are not good for our health, and that is the only reason basically that diseases are happening in India. Especially many people are surviving, many people are on, basically they are the problems arises due to the asthma problems and all. Why? Because the quality of the air index is not good. Yes, they might, so the breathing problems occurs, and sometimes the smokes are being released inside the body, and that is also not good for our health. So these things are to be taken into consideration, my dear students, that why the earth is being getting heated. It is only because of this chlorophyll release of these carbons and all. But the 1% is that the people who are living are also responsible for the earth, right? They should be a good citizen, in order that we should protect the earth by keeping the clean and the greener environment. The 100 years, each person in the world releases 4.5 metric tons of carbon dioxide. 100 years ago, the amount of carbon dioxide was 275 ppm, that is part per million. Today it is 350. You can just see over a different, and the 0.28 it was basically the methane, the carbon, chlorofluorocarbons. Due to this release of all these things, that is also the part per million of exam is given to you of 280 part per million it will be. Yes. Then in your textbook, my dear students, it is given that we know that a definitely quantity of sugar has to be added in the vegetable or tea. What would happen if we add more sugar or salt in the same way? Yes. So basically by use of extra thing, whenever something extra thing in a body, it becomes, for example, if the sodium increases in the body, yes, there will be some changes. At the same point of time, if in the earth's crust in the Earth's atmosphere also, if the level of the proportion of the air quality of index is not good, if the air is totally bad by this different smoke, how it will live it? Yes, the Earth is not going to live a proper way. Then you can see there is a methane chlorofluorocarbons, that is CFC. The massive increase in the methane proportion from 315 part per million in the year 1750 to 1764 and ppm, that is part per million, in the year 2005 was due to the reasons listed below. What was the reason? You just see over there, exhaling of animals and metabolism process, that is the release of methane, is 14 crore ton, paddy cultivation of 15 crore ton, and decomposition of the biodegradable waste of 7 crore ton. So basically these are the reasons of why the methane gas, that was a totally increase in the methane proportion, the part per million was increased of 315 part per million. And what was the reason? That is due to exhalation of the animals. And yes, if you the exhalation of the animals will be there, that is also the main thing over that. Nice things to know, it is given to you that all the things used by human in one day has 80% of the air in it. A man breathes 22,000 times every day. In this way, a man consumes 16 kg of oxygen from the environment per day. So from this, my dear students, you can just notify that if a man is consuming a 16 kg of oxygen from the environment per day, and if the environment air quality index is not good, then how a man is going to live a proper life, and how a man is going to live a healthy life? And this is only because a man will only be the responsible for him. If you a man is not responsible for creating a greener and a good environment, he or she is only going to suffer for it, right? Then comes the nitrous oxide. The proportion of the nitrous oxide has increased from 270 ppm to recent 319 ppm, that is a part per million. The chlorofluorocarbons, due to the use of the foam, plastics, refrigerators, AC, circuit, aerosol spray, the minute particles having the size ranging from 1 micron to 10 micron is known as aerosol. It has been increased in the chlorofluorocarbons. So the micron capacity, whenever you see the plastic, right, and the microns are there, the size will be there from 1 micron to 10 micron. Whenever the larger the microns, the plastic will be of the good quality. And so basically these chlorofluorocarbons are being used for by the foams, or by using the plastics, or by making the refrigerators and ACs. So this type of hard plastics are being used for it. So for molding it, that you need the factories, and factories release the smokes and everything. So that is also the most important factor for changing the environment, and also a crucial point for the global warming. Then, as per the resolution passed by the UN on 23rd January 1995, September is observed as the ozone day. That means 16 September recently it has gone, it was a world ozone day. And after 1980, year 2007 was the hottest year. After 1980, 2007 was the hottest year ever, because that year it was considered to be one of the hottest year ever. So these things you would come to know about these things. Then the effects of the global warming. What will be the effects of the global warming? That is, the changes are observed in the growth and development of vegetation. Certain species of birds are now disappearing, such as sparrows and vultures. Of 2000, glaciers of Himalaya have recorded melted. There has been increase in the natural calamities like famine, cyclone, excessive rain and floods in the last 10 years. Yes, so due to the global warming, the many effects have been taken place. Birds are disappearing, sparrows and vultures are the migrating birds are disappearing because the glaciers sometimes glaciers are melting, so the migratory birds, those who are migrating from one place to another, they also don't have a proper place to live it. So uh, for them also the global warming has become a very big thing. There has been increase in the natural calamities like famine, cyclone, excessive rain and flood in the last 10 years. The places receiving heavy rainfall are now experiencing less rainfall. Rajasthan and Dubai experienced heavy rain and there is a scanty of rain in Cherrapunji. The production of pulses has gone down due to the global warming. The level of the groundwater has decreased, so the groundwater that is also being decreased, and the production of the pulses, because if we are not receiving a proper rain, because due to the excessive heat, everything is dried up, the rivers are being dried out. So from where the basically the farmers are very much terrified about the things from where we get the water, because the people who are giving the waters from the rivers, especially in the near the farm areas, so basically that was also being experienced, the production was also being gone down. The melting of the glaciers has increased the water level in the oceans. This has aggravated the erosion of the coastline. Human beings will fall victims to dehydration and malnutrition due to the increase in the temperature increases. So nowadays you can just see the temperature. If the temperature increases, if the rivers are being dried out, there will be no water, there will be no production of the crops, so there will be no food, vegetables to eat, so there will be dehydration and also the malnutrition. The nutritious food we cannot eat it as there are no crop production, and also there will be dehydration because of the less of excessive water into the body. Because if and how why it will be less of excessive water, because water which we are drinking it from the fresh waters which we receive it from the rivers, that is only being dried out, so what we will get. So that is also the main thing of effects of the global warming. Then there will be change in the cycle of seasons. The characteristics of summer and winter season will change. The salinity of the soil in Gujarat will increase due to the increase of the 25 centimeters in the sea level. There is a marked decline in the agricultural production. The frequency of the diseases like cholera, dengue, malaria, yellow fever, swine flu has increased. Here it is given over here the frequency of disease. These all the diseases have been increased. The malaria also, now you can see that rainy season, many parts, the puddles are there, water is being filled out, and many mosquitoes are being mosquitoes are there. So from that mosquitoes, the malarias and different types of disease takes place. And now the greatest disease over here we have on our head, that is coronavirus. Everybody is being suffering. Yes, that is also, and we are fearing about this global pandemic diseases. The areas near the coast of Maldives, Bangladesh, Philippines, West Indies and Australia have submerged, and according to an institution named the Greenpeace, approximately 55 lakh people living in Gujarat will have to migrate in the year 2100. The flowers are losing their fragrance due to global warming, and beehives are disappearing fast. So you can just see that many people due to such things, due to the earth, yes, UV radiation, the first figure over there, ozone layer is there, but due to the UV rays entering into the earth, the earth is totally being destroyed. Yes, because the rays are too much high and temperature is also too much high, and that affects. Due to such things, here you can just see the industry, the smokes are being released and the pollution is being caused. So that is also one of the greatest thing in the global warming. There again you can see in the picture the fridge and the AC are there. People will not be living without AC, because we need a fresh air, we need a good air, at least a cool air, because in this heat the people can't survive, and also sometimes it may lead to a dehydration, and sometimes the people are being fainted in summers, especially the people are there. But that will be the most crucial point it for over the global warming. So these are the effects of the global warming which has been caused to the earth. So if these things are to be reduced, if the destruction of the forest, then basically different types of things, if that is being reduced, definitely the temperature of the earth will be normal, and the people who are living on the earth will live a normal life. Otherwise this diseases and the spread of the global pandemic diseases, like different types of, we have it recently, the coronavirus, everything will be mixed up, and every year it will come on and on. So we need to save our environment, we need to save our earth. The non-conventional source of energy that we all know, that is with the sources of energy which we are receiving from the naturally, that is the solar energy, the wind energy, the biomass, the tidal energy. These things are prevention from global warming. Yes, these things are being preventing us. So we will now see about what are the measures to prevent the global warming. Yes, we have a greener earth, but we should know how to prevent global warming. Global warming is there, but we should know how, what are the things, what are the measures that we can prevent. If these things are to be done properly, are to be followed properly, definitely we can have a stoppage of global warming. That is, first, that is reduce the use of the sources that release CO2, that is the use of carbon dioxide, which are releasing the carbon dioxide, that is being reduced. Afforestation and conservation of forest should be done. Deforestation should not be done. That afforestation, that means planting of trees should be done. Growing trees helps to reduce the carbon dioxide. Avoid the use of plastics. In plastics should not be used. It is also banned, but then also people are using it. The plastics, instead of plastic, use the paper. Optimum use of the manure and pesticides. Adopt organic farming. Now organic farming, that is also a pure farming, green vegetables, we can eat it instead of using the different types of insecticides over there, because nowadays if vegetables and fruits and vegetables which you are eating, sometimes it is not of that proper taste, and that is also the main thing. If one the pesticides, yes, which we are using it, if you are using it in organic way, organic manner, that is the best ever thing. That is if you are using the green manure, the cattle manure, whatever the manure is there, you are planting it over it, and for that is organic, that is the proper organic thing. So adopt that organic farming. Add biotics in the food for animals. Optimum use of the household appliances. Proper use of the means of transport. Check the growth of human population. Design the buildings with sufficient ventilation to save electricity. Many people are there, even in the in the daylight, the sunlight we get it, but then also they will start even the light. Save electricity, because that is also the one important factor in global warming. Increase the use of the eco-friendly papers. Grow plants and trees around your house. Make optimum use of the natural resources. Use petroleum products judiciously. Use water carefully. Practice rainwater harvesting, and increase the use of CNG and non-conventional sources of energy. So you can grow your plants nearby your house, so that you may receive at least a shade, you may receive a good even the medicinal herbs also you can plant it in your houses. Eco-friendly papers, you can use it. If you are going in a little distance, go walking instead of taking your own vehicles, because that is also, you are polluting the whole environment over there. So that is also the main point, that if you are if you want to go, you can go through your vehicle, but if you want to take something in a nearby distance, go walking. That is also good for your health, and it good for the environment, because if you take your vehicle, the smoke released out from the vehicles will be polluting the environment. So that is also the basic thing over it. So these things are to be taken into consideration. What kind of residence should we have to protect ourselves from the effect of the increase in temperature? So residence should be, we can say that they should be shaded with the green plants. We can plant the trees around the houses in order to get a shade over it, and also the fresh air we might get it. To make 1 ton of paper is given to you that 4400 kilowatt electricity, 30,000 liters of water, and wood of 11 trees is required. Now if among all these things, if we are vanishing all these things, if we are destroying all these things, how a paper is being made? Just think in your mind, my dear students. If for making 1 ton of paper, everything, electricity, water and wood is being required, and all the three, electricity, water and wood, if these are being destroyed, then how can we get a paper? You think in mind, my dear students. So we have to change it, we have to change the attitude, and we have to think that we have to save our environment. And the last, that is global policy to protect the environment. That is, on realizing that human activities are the root cause of destruction of the environment, the countries of the world gathered at Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, in 1972 to think of ways to protect the environment. Another convention was held at the Rio de Janeiro, that is in Brazil. In the meeting held at the Copenhagen, capital city of Denmark, in the year 2009 to discuss the global warming, it was observed that the developed nations are not accepting the carbon cut, the technique to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases, and the developing nations were increasing pressure for the reduction of emission of the greenhouse gases. It was decided to give an aid of $100 billion for the development of developing nations. Yes, so it's clearly given to you that the developed nations are not accepting the carbon cut. That is a technique to reduce the emission of the gases. They are not cutting it. The developing nations were increasing pressure for reduction of the emission of, yes, the developing nations are increasing, but the developing nations, those who are developing, yes, definitely they are increasing, but at the same point of time the things are also being increased. Yes, the greenhouse gases are also increasing in developing nations, so they have to put a reduction over there, and it was decided to give an aid for $100 billion for the development of developing nations. In this meeting, 59 research papers and 45 countries were presented, and through it, the leaders of the world were made to think seriously regarding the changing climate. On an average, a citizen in the world emits 4.5 metric ton carbon dioxide. Indian citizen emits 1.2 metric ton carbon dioxide, and other developing nations release far lesser carbon dioxide gas. Large amount of concession should be given for the development, and more restrictions should be imposed on the countries like USA, as an average American emits 20.6 metric ton carbon dioxide. So these are the things basically in the globally also, if you want to protect the environment, certain things, the gases, the greenhouse gases are to be reduced in order that to have a cleaner and a greener environment. Yes, over there. And so you can just have a look, my dear students, that the vehicles now has come with the BS6, the Power, BS4 and BS6, the different types of the vehicles models are coming over there. So why it is BS6? It is eco-friendly in order to make a noise reduction, smoke reduction. This type of vehicles are being created in order to move a second level of getting a proper pure quality of air index for the environment. So we are only responsible citizens of our country to have a proper green and a cleaner environment. So I hope that the environmental changes, what the changes being taking place, are responsible. These are the things, effects we have seen, but it is our priority to maintain the environment and to have a greener and a clean environment over wherever we are, wherever we are living in the nearby areas also, the residents we are living also, try to maintain a clean, healthy and a greener environment. Thank you, my dear students. I hope that you have understood, and I will give you the question answers in the PDF form in the workbook, right? Write it neatly so that you may understand it and write it properly in your workbook.